They did successfully solve this, and of course the time rift was created without the additional problems. The aliens had what they wanted, including a stable Earth, because I'm quite sure they didn't want half of the planet ripped apart. Otherwise, what was their purpose in coming here? They wanted a viable planet with a society and civilization intact, which it still is. And that problem had to be solved and was solved. There are many aspects of this, and I'm not going to even attempt to go into a math on this. In fact, I don't remember most of it. I think Preston could if he wanted to explain it mathematically. But this problem was solved. The whole thing was damped down, and these people disbanded. This was not a government project, believe it or not. It was privately done. It was privately run, and the people who were involved were non-governmental, and I question if the government even knew what was going on. Perhaps when it was all over, or perhaps till now. That was solved, and consequently it went on, and the physical aspects of our reality remained intact. But here you had that problem. How did you get this whole thing to settle up and line up? And how did you get the communication? Without the extraterrestrials and without Dr. Costain, they wouldn't have been able to put the pieces together in that fashion, because the test on the 20th or 22nd of July of 43 with the Eldridge produced no oddball effects other than the fact they had serious electromagnetic exposure problems to the crew. The ship didn't disappear, nothing happened to it. When it came back on the 12th of August, 4 hours later approximately, the ship had some physical damage, and of course, the people buried in the decks and the bulkheads, they had a very, very serious problem they faced. That problem, in terms of the personnel, has been solved since. I do not know the exact technology in which they finally did solve it, but Van Neumann was requested in 1947 to go back and look at the problem and see if they could salvage anything. He did. He solved the problem. First, he had to invent a computer. The modern electronic computer is the brainchild of Dr. John Van Neumann. The Institute of Advanced Study. The first one built, perfected is perhaps not the word, but functional, in 1952, and a complete system involving a computer shipped to the Navy in 53 with another test on another ship. And I was not there because the Navy had decided it was time for me to disappear. And that test was very successful in 53, and they renamed the project, no longer Project Rainbow, but Project Phoenix. It was a big umbrella that covered many, many projects. Over many years, many generations of hardware, they did make it very practical. It is now on the B-1 and the B-2 bombers. It's on all the large carriers. The B-2 bomber, of course, being the stealth. And that system is totally functional without any apparent hazardous side effects. I was removed from the Navy in 1947. I knew too much, was learning too much from digging in the vaults of Los Alamos, and somebody with the communication up and down the line decided I had to go. But part of this problem and the damping out here from 43 to 83, as a Levinson equation state, there were standing wave ripples, which go on for another 20 years, out to 2003. This part had to be damped. We weren't concerned about the back end. So Duncan and I were specially set up and processed by whom I do not know and how I don't know. But we've been the stabilizing factors on this whole Levinson matrix, if you will, the time stability factor, which has kept everything stable. And after 2003, I guess we're not required anymore. Who knows what will happen to us by then. That was also part of the project called Atlanticus Not Revisited. I do not know what was done, but I do know it was accomplished. So I think we've fairly well covered this, and in a brief nutshell, the problems that were generated by those two projects were solved. Of course, Phoenix went down on the night of 12 August 83 from sabotage, and it's been out of operation ever since, though there is a new Phoenix at a different location, now essentially operational. The aliens knew what they wanted, they got what they wanted, and today we have a problem with the aliens that we'll not go into. I think that pretty well winds it up, other than to say my experiences have been put into a book entitled The Philadelphia Experiment and Other UFO Conspiracies. I do have a few copies upstairs the table where Preston Nichols is located, and I also have a few left, I believe, in the bookstore, and they are for sale. If you have any other questions, I think I have about 2 minutes. I'll attempt to answer any questions at this point, and then I can answer questions later.
A question?
Yeah, gentleman, a lady back there with the glasses.
Oh. If they have this advanced technology, what do they need us for?
They need us for 2 things. In fact, 3 perhaps, but number 1, in terms of the technology, they need our capability to manufacture hardware to their specifications, which we are now capable of doing. And so far as the Orions are concerned, they're engaged in an advanced base operation in a general warfare. And there is warfare going on out in space now. We hope it doesn't come to the surface of Earth. The second part of this is, in terms of the Greys, they need us as warm bodies for genetic experimentation to develop a new race. And involving this is also the CIA and our government in secrets, very great secrecy. They are doing extreme genetic engineering and have developed a lot of new things, including a totally new class of implants, which are now biological, not hard chips. And this is only one tip of the iceberg. They need us for that. Yes, one other question?
No,
that's it.
Fine.
Okay.
Only 10 seconds left.
All right. I thank you all for your attention, and if you have any other questions, I'll answer them later.